different. In this video, I want to talk about everything we currently know about Nintendo. Welcome to something a little bit different. In this video, I want to talk about everything we currently know about Nintendo's upcoming console, the Nintendo NX. 2016 is shaping up to be a pretty exciting year for gaming. There are a ton of great games on the way, plus there will no doubt be a ton more announced at E3. It's also the year of VR, and that is something I am personally really excited about. But to top it all off, if rumours and speculations are to be believed, then we may also have a new Nintendo console in our homes by the end of this year. And if you've been around this channel for a while now, you should know that despite the fact that I spend most of my time on my Xbox One, I am a Nintendo kid at heart. I grew up on Nintendo consoles, The Legend of Zelda is my all-time favourite series, and my Nintendo 3DS basically never leaves my side. So the prospect of a new Nintendo console that could rival both the Xbox One and PS4 is definitely something that has me excited. But, that aside, the question remains, what do we actually know about this system? And the answer is, not a great deal. As official sources go, Nintendo confirmed mid last year that they were working on the Nintendo NX, but they said they wouldn't be talking about the console until 2016. Part of the reason they announced this last year is because there were a lot of concerns from fans regarding their collaboration with Dina and whether this meant that they'd be moving more into the mobile space and away from the dedicated console business. But the late Satoru Iwata reassured fans that this was most definitely not the case. He said, and I quote, "As proof that Nintendo maintains strong enthusiasm for the dedicated game system business, let me confirm that Nintendo is currently developing a dedicated game platform with a brand new concept under the development codename NX. It is too early to elaborate on the details of this project, but we hope to share more information with you next year." It's also said that the NX will supposedly be part of the new membership service Nintendo are going to be rolling out that will encompass both smart devices and dedicated Nintendo platforms. This service is supposed to replace the now discontinued Nintendo Club and will instead act as a means to connect all Nintendo platform users through the new system Nintendo account. But as interesting as all of that is, the question still remains, what is the Nintendo NX? And while the official answer will of course come later this year, there are a few theories and speculations based on registered patents, potential concept designs and a few other things that might help fill in the blanks. First up, the most popular theory is that it will be a console handheld hybrid. We already know that Nintendo dominate the handheld gaming space. However, their current home console, the Wii U, isn't doing quite as well as their previous systems. So surely the solution to this going forward is to create a single system that encompasses both audiences and then allows them to focus all efforts in a single direction as opposed to dividing it between two. In fact, a recent US patent actually further reinforces this fact as it describes a unit or game console that can be connected to supplemental computing devices, emphasis on devices plural, to increase the speed or quality of a user's gaming experience using wires, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. In other words, you could see this as a standalone detachable handheld gaming device that you could take with you and enjoy on the go, but then when you return home it'd likely be some sort of dock that you could then place the system in, allowing you to switch over to a more powerful home gaming experience. The patent itself is actually rather lengthy and includes quite a bit of technical jargon, but one of the other interesting details is with regards to cloud power. Using the power of the cloud is something Microsoft likes to talk about a lot with regards to the Xbox One, but just how effective it actually is has always been a bit of a mystery. However, this patent says, and I quote, "Users play an array of different games on an array of different types of game consoles. In some instances, these consoles execute games locally on the consoles, using the processing, storage and other resources of the console. However, for some games, including games in which players play simultaneously against each other while located at different locations, the capabilities of the local console are not sufficient. Therefore, some gaming has moved into the cloud. That is, server devices located at central locations, e.g. servers maintained by a producer of the game, may host or otherwise execute portions of the game, given that these server devices often have processing and storage capabilities that far exceed those of local game consoles. However, given that these servers need to receive information from and send information to the game consoles, the quality of cloud gaming relies heavily on the latency of the network between the server devices and the game console. Stated otherwise, a high degree of network latency may significantly degrade the gaming experience of the user. It then goes on to say, in some instances, a supplemental computing device may also be used by other remote game consoles or game consoles that do not locally, e.g. physically, couple to supplemental computing devices. For instance, the supplemental computing device may include a wireless communication interface or may utilize the wireless communication interface of its local game console to communicate with the remote game consoles over a network. The remote game consoles may then use the processing and or storage resources of the supplemental computing devices, similar to how the local game console utilized these resources, albeit in a wireless manner. In fact, this patent goes on for quite a while, and there is a lot of technical jargon there. And if you do want to read it for yourself, I will link it down below in the description. But the TLDR, or too long didn't read version, is that basically Nintendo are planning to produce a cloud-assisted gaming console that allows some of the system processing to be done elsewhere, whilst the remaining can be offloaded to the host console or the kind of home dock if that's what it's going to be. As an aside, for anyone worrying that this new system will end up being the next Wii iteration, you don't need to worry. A statement again from Satoru Iwata last year said that the NX will be a dedicated video game platform with a brand new concept. The company didn't intend for it to be a simple replacement for the 3DS or Wii U, but instead aims to create something completely new, which is definitely the direction they need to take. I mean, while Nintendo have always been pioneers when it comes to gaming and the industry, and they have strongly led with the belief that gameplay comes before graphics, there does come a time where if you really want to compete on a level playing field, you at least need to be able to match the competition, and that is what the NX is. In fact, if one of the rumours from last year is to be believed, then the Nintendo NX will be packing similar hardware to that of the PS4 and Xbox One, and if that does end up being true, then that could be half the battle. See, while Nintendo can quite happily create great quality games on a less powerful machine, one of the other success criteria for a console is third-party support, and should the NX match up to the PS4 and Xbox One, we could start seeing a Nintendo console at the forefront once again. Now, while I spoke briefly about the controller earlier on and how it will likely function as both a standalone device as well as a home console, another patent surfaced which could potentially shed some more light on the device itself. The patent describes an oval-shaped controller with a pair of analog sticks, shoulder buttons and a speaker. And if this is true, this is already music to my ears. Dual analog sticks, like the PS Vita, is exactly what I need to play Monster Hunter. Anyway, that aside, the patent continues to state that the entire face of the controller is supposedly a touchscreen, which would also allow developers to place custom buttons on the screen that fit their needs, as opposed to being constrained by the usual hardware buttons. The device is also said to feature a micro SD card slot and gyroscopic motion controls. Yet another patent also suggests that the NX could scrap disc-based software altogether. It states that it could focus solely on digital games and apps, in turn broadening its storefront and also including 3DS games and other platforms that are currently unplayable on the Wii U, which again further reinforces the hybrid cross-platform rumours that were circulating. The patent itself actually states an example system includes an internal hard drive disk storing a program and or data, a communication unit transmitting/receiving a program and or data via a network, and a processor executing a program stored in the hard disk drive to perform game processing. It then goes on to say that the example system is not provided with an optical disk drive for reading out a program and or data from an optical disk. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't think everyone is completely ready to give up on physical based media just yet. Sure, downloading games is convenient and a lot of us do it right now, but I for one still do like to put game boxes on my shelf, plus if you consider the consumers that perhaps don't have good enough internet to support that, then I'm not entirely sure whether this can be believed just yet or not. So, with all of that said and done, the question remains, when will we be seeing this console? And of course, the accurate official answer has yet to surface, but a recent statement from Nomura Securities analyst Junko Yamamura says that the NX will be made available by 2016 year-end shopping season. They expect the concept to be announced sometime between March and May, with the console itself being unveiled in June, which is of course the month of E3, and the launch will then fall somewhere between October and November, which if you look at historic console launches seems rather plausible. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. Of course, feel free to take everything in this video with a pinch of salt, because until we get an official word from Nintendo, this could all be complete and utter rubbish. But regardless, the Nintendo NX is something I am super excited about and will be keeping a close eye on going forward. So anytime new news or rumours surface, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date and in the loop. For the time being though, if you guys did enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated. It really does help me out, helps other people see this video. And also remember, you can find links to the different patents I spoke about in the description box down below. Also, leave a comment and let me know what you think about the sound of this console. Even if it is rumours and speculation, does this new system excite you or does it concern you? Let me know, but for the time being, thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time.